We just finished taking a look at why the PS4 might be the best deal in gaming right now, and revisiting that console made one thing very clear. The greatness of the PS4, hell, the biggest thing propping up the PS5, is the absolutely legendary lineup of 8th gen titles. Now, this isn't exactly a top 20 list, though it could be. It's more of a highlight reel of incredible games with a little added spice, my personal taste, that showcase just how awesome this console's library truly is. Let's check it out.
Brutal, without mercy. But you will be worse. Rip and tear, until it is done.
Man, you know it's a banger when that Doom music kicks in. I know it's a huge meme at this point, but dude, it's so true. This game makes you feel like such an unstoppable, primal machine just surging with testosterone. I mean, just fuck yeah, dude. Wow, am I sweaty? Why do I have a boner? Playing this game feels like finding a really good stick as a kid. Just hell yeah, brother. id Software perfectly captured that unstoppable force feeling in this one. Don't miss it if you're into shooters. This is one of a couple games on the list, mind you, that I don't own on PS4. This is PC footage here, but I'll label those when they pop up, just a heads up. PlayStation fans are going to be waiting for this one, so let's not delay the inevitable here. Probably the most compelling twist on the Souls-like formula, other than maybe Elden Ring, Bloodborne flips the script on what you've come to expect from games like Dark Souls, where the eponymous Souls genre titles reward memorizing patterns and a defensive mindset in slow, heavy combat. Bloodborne instead demands persistent aggression with a steady flow of combat as you heal through damage. It's faster, it's more rhythmic, and the gothic horror setting is just dripping with style. I'm not sure why Sony and From Software refuse to touch this IP. It's really baffling considering how sick it is, and it remains one of the few true exclusives to the PS4. A certified Vanillaware classic, this developer just doesn't miss, man. The most striking thing about Dragon's Crown is obviously the art style, which is hand-drawn and then animated in this over-the-top fantasy storybook style that looks really awesome with the higher resolution in this remaster. But the game itself is really sick. A 2D dungeon-crawling action RPG with fast, fluid combat, cool character combos, and mountains of loot. RPG fans will find a lot to love here. The replayability is also high, so the value proposition is solid, despite the slightly higher $30-ish price tag on eBay. This won't be the last Vanillaware title on today's list, but let's pivot and talk about one of the big boys that you're probably expecting to see. But before we do, if you're liking this so far, do me a favor, hit the like and hype buttons. It really pushes the video to more people, and toss me a comment below before you head out. Alright, back to it. God of War is a cinematic masterpiece and a very useful testing tool to see if your PS4 needs new thermal paste. Dude, that is so loud. This reboot changes up the God of War formula to focus more on the emotional storytelling of a father and son's journey, with heavy themes of fatherhood, grief, and loss. As a father myself, this one hits pretty hard, but so does Kratos, as the combat still slams, so no worries there. It's an excellent merger of the badass combat feel from the older games with a more meaningful story, and it's one of the best games on PS4 without a doubt. The sequel, Ragnarok, is also on PS4, and both have really solid performance on the 8th gen machine, as that was the primary focus in development. Don't miss these, they're absolutely must-have titles. Speaking of must-haves, The Last of Us may take the crown as the most essential on Sony's consoles. At least part 1 is. While I may have some mixed feelings about the direction and pacing of the second title, there's no denying that this series is one of the most iconic in gaming history, yet another incredible achievement by Naughty Dog Studios. Good chance you've heard of these already, but if you want a gripping narrative in a post-apocalyptic world with incredible characters and highly detailed, nuanced voice actor performances, and a few emotional gut punches to boot, these are games every fan of a good story cannot afford to miss. Again, at least the first one. A good story is cool and all, but what if you just want a game with beautiful assets? Dead or Alive has always been a leader in impressive character assets, and this last round version of Dead or Alive 5 feels like a love letter to fans of the franchise. It's chock full of content, has a completely fleshed out story experience, and retained beloved features like tag mode while adding great new systems like critical bursts, all while adding the largest roster of characters and unlockable cosmetics to date. This is unironically one of the most polished fighting game experiences on the console, and it's worth picking up if you want a good fighting game with great graphics, even if you aren't a mouth-breathing caveman like myself. I recommend this one over Dead or Alive 6, at least first, as you trade slightly worse graphics for drastically more content and better systems. Despite being a slightly earlier PS4 release, Horizon Zero Dawn is still one of the most visually captivating experiences on the system. A compelling story set in a post-apocalyptic world with a very unique mix of primitive, returned-to-nature tribal vibes intermingled with futuristic technology. It makes for a really interesting world to explore. The combat is smooth, and it really puts you in the action as you take down the hostile mechanical beasts that are roaming the land by exploiting weaknesses using a mix of the aforementioned technology alongside your bow and traps. It's super cool, man, and the sequel, Forbidden West, is also on PS4 if you're hungry for more afterwards. An outstanding game with a bizarre name. This is that other Vanillaware gem that I alluded to, though there are several more on the console. Tactical RPG fans rejoice, as this may be the best one released in the last decade, I'm not exaggerating, and it's probably in the top 5 of all time. That signature hand-drawn 2D fantasy art style really works here, and there's a level of polish across this entire experience that very few games can compete with. With its own very unique twist on combat scenarios and the deep story that RPG fans will be hoping for, it harmonizes with every note that composes an all-time great. Vanillaware was betting the farm on this one, draining their budget over 10 years of development to build the perfect game to the point that the CEO had to cover the remaining development costs out of his own pocket. And hallelujah, this masterpiece sold over 1 million copies and bailed out the company. Fans of strategy games, this is the definition of a must-play title. We should probably include the best-selling title on the console, right? Insomniac Games hit an absolute home run with Marvel's Spider-Man. We've seen a few fun Spider-Man games over the years, but they all pale in comparison to this picture-perfect web-slinging experience that was served up here. Swinging through the city feels so natural and intuitive that I'd find myself zoning out to the addictive rhythm of traversal for way longer than was reasonable. Mix in the engaging combat, a great story, and top-shelf visuals, and this is a title that every PS4 owner should have on the shelf, full stop. The conclusion to the long-running character arc for Nathan Drake, this cinematic, treasure-hunting adventure is the most stunning entry in the series to date. It's got the same breathtaking set pieces and high-octane action sequences that the series is known for, in easily one of the most visually stunning entries on the list. You can also grab the Nathan Drake collection, which I highly recommend, which contains remasters of the first 3 titles in the series and completes the Nathan Drake quadrilogy on a single console. And they're so cheap, dude. I bought Uncharted 4 for $3.99. This is what I'm talking about. The value on PS4 is completely out of control. If you're a JRPG fan, you may be tired of hearing about this one by now, but there's just no denying its greatness at this point. Persona 5 Royal plays as well on PS4 as it does anywhere else, and it's the best overall entry in what is probably the most beloved modern JRPG series that there is. Now I will say, while it's an incredible game, it is long, and there's a tremendous amount of dialogue, so it may not be to everyone's taste. I offered that very soft criticism in my Persona 5 video, and enraged some Persona fans, but if you love a good mystery story with deep character development, and literally unmatched creativity and visual presentation, look no further. While GTA 5 is obviously Rockstar's biggest game, it's the second highest selling game of all time, this open-world western has an unprecedented level of world-building and immersion. The level of detail is just otherworldly, man. The hunting, crafting, the NPC behavior and random events, horseback riding across the wide-open expanses, it just sucks you in. They really went above and beyond to the point of excess here. I mean, just as an example, and it's a little crass, so bear with me, but when it's cold, the horse's balls shrink. That is an unreasonable level of attention to detail, and I respect the hell out of it. If you want the pinnacle of Western RPGs, Western having dual meaning here, this is the game for you. We are 13 games into this list now, and there's just no dip in quality. Ghost of Tsushima is a masterpiece in visual storytelling, and probably the best samurai game you could possibly hope for. The deep and moving story about honor and duty is complemented perfectly by the incredible visual style, blending a groundbreaking foliage and grass system with the powerful use of wind both symbolically and as a key gameplay mechanic. This is a powerful story with masterful presentation, and it's an absolute must-own if you've got a PS4. And as an added bonus, the PS4 Pro seems to maintain over 30 FPS pretty much all the time here with no stutters, so it feels surprisingly solid for a game that's this expansive and visually impressive. Do not sleep on this one just because it may look a little different than what you normally play. What starts out, admittedly, as a corny anime story very quickly morphs itself into one of the sickest action RPGs I've played in recent years. This game is a laser light show of visual spectacle, and once it ramps up, the adrenaline keeps flowing for dozens of hours as the game repeatedly throws you into epic encounters with no reprieve. It's functionally a compilation of huge, insane boss encounters where you farm epic loot with dozens of different characters, each with their own unique combos and playstyle. It's Boss Fight the game, but it feels a bit more streamlined and accessible than Monster Hunter, while being more visually polished than God Eater. I played this non-stop for weeks with my friend on PC when it released. The co-op is so much fun. It's a real gem, and I hope they do a sequel. This list is so stacked already, man, and they just keep coming. The Witcher 3 is widely considered to be one of the best RPGs ever. Many consider it to be the best Western RPG of all time, and the PS4 is a great place to experience it. Geralt of Rivia is one of the coolest video game protagonists out there. He really embodies that anti-hero, badass persona, and it fits perfectly in this somewhat bleak world. Monster-slaying quests in this huge, rich environment just never seem to get old. You know, it really is a shame that Netflix fumbled the Witcher series so badly. There's so much potential here. But oh well, we've still got the games, and this one is the best of the lot. Getting a remake right is pretty challenging, trying to strike that balance between honoring the original that fans love while still breathing new life into it by innovating with modern systems and graphics. Resident Evil 2 is a fine example of how to knock that formula out of the park, and as such, it now stands as a modern survival horror classic. They really nail that sense of dread here with clever use of more modern lighting systems and that over-the-shoulder perspective. And man, if you've ever played the OG Resident Evil games, the updated control scheme is very much an improvement. The originals are classics, don't get me wrong, but man are they clunky at times. This game rules, and it's a no-brainer for fans of survival horror. Coming off a long streak of essentially being a handheld-only series, Capcom decided to shake things up and dropped a full AAA quality Monster Hunter game on us with a tyrannical slam. I personally think this big open world and high production value fits this type of game a lot better, and the loop of slaying monsters, collecting their parts, then crafting and upgrading better gear from it before heading out to slay even badder baddies is highly addictive. As it stands, after the catastrophic performance failures of Monster Hunter Wilds, this and Rise remain the best entries in the series to date. Do better, Capcom. The newest installment and 17th main entry in this now 30-year-old series, Tales of Arise is arguably one of the very best in the entire series, and it remains the fastest-selling entry to date. I actually own this on PC as well, but this is one of many JRPGs that I've just wanted to play on console in front of the TV for whatever reason. I've been out of luck until now because it's way too much for the Switch to handle, but the PS4 Pro's superior hardware is the key that unlocks these titles for me. This isn't just a great story infused with visual spectacle, but there's a really compelling relationship that blooms between the main characters as well. I'm really excited to spend some more time with this one. This one might be a touch controversial. I know Final Fantasy VII Remake is a bit of a love it or hate it title amongst the fans out there, but I really enjoyed this game. It actually inspired the first full-length game review on this channel, and I poured a lot of time into it. This game sees Midgar and our beloved Avalanche heroes reimagined with stunning modern graphics, and while the pacing was kinda hit or miss at times, I really appreciated that Square Enix really went for it here, It's a bold move to remake such a legendary game. There's plenty of room to mess it up and upset the die-hard fans, but while this isn't perfect, I think this still remains a really charming game with incredible set pieces, charming characters, and a killer soundtrack. It's a real love letter to the original that's just as good for a newcomer to the series. Ratchet and Clank used to be super sick back on the PS2, but platformers kind of fell out of style as the years went by a little bit. This reimagining of the formula combines the humor and charm of the original with a fresh coat of paint that should please both new and nostalgic players. It's still got all the goofy gadgets and over-the-top weapons that you'd expect, and it honestly looks and plays like a dream. And if you like this one, or you just have that nostalgia bug for more platformer, collectathon goodness, check out the Spyro the Dragon and Crash Bandicoot remaster trilogies as well. Dragon Quest XI isn't just considered the best entry in the long-running series, it's one of the best JRPGs of all time, and a fantastic starting point for newcomers to the genre. This served as my introduction to Dragon Quest, and I really appreciated that the developer chose to polish the classic turn-based formula to a near-perfect shine, instead of forcibly adding features and systems that bloat the game and make it less playable. It didn't reinvent the wheel because it doesn't need to. The presentation is generally pretty wholesome, but it's not afraid to get a little dark and heavy at times as well. There were some real emotional gut punches that surprised me. Word of advice though, if you try to look up builds or guides on this game, which I mistakenly did, you're going to get hit with some serious spoilers that really compromise the impact of a few plot points. I highly advise against it. I'm still mad about it over a year later. I'm a die-hard fan of classic Dragon Ball. I even did a review on my other channel about DBZ if you want to check that out. So a really solid game like Dragon Ball FighterZ is right up my alley. This game uses super clean cell shading and flashy visuals that really pop, and the fast-paced fighting combat makes it feel like you're right in the action. This is how you remember DBZ fights playing out in your head when you were a kid, instead of the 6 episodes of fighters talking and staring at each other that you'll see if you go back and rewatch it as an adult. There's a couple solid Dragon Ball games on the console. Kakarot is also pretty sick as more of an RPG, but if you like fighting games and DBZ, this one is a definite pickup. The first time we've seen a switch-up in the naming scheme and protagonist in the Yakuza series, this turn-based twist on the established story has cemented itself as an instant classic. Like a Dragon maintains the deep story, humor, and fun side activities that you've come to expect, but introduces us to the lovable and hopelessly optimistic new protagonist, Ichiban Kasuga, and dude, the jobs in this game are hilarious. Your default is homeless guy, and you can breathe fire with a lighter and alcohol, and chuck pigeons at people. But there's also classes like karaoke host, idol, and chef. It's completely insane, but it works, and it plays perfectly on the PS4. And the sequel also dropped on PS4 called Infinite Wealth, if you want to continue the journey afterwards. This list is still just masterpiece after masterpiece, and I could honestly keep going for a long time. The library is just so deep, but to be honest, I'm sick of editing, so here you go. This was like 23 games, plus some extras, that I think really show off the range and quality of this console's incredible, multi-generation defining library. Let me know in the comments what other titles you think should have been on the list today, and recommend me games, man. I'm still actively collecting for this console, and I am well aware that I didn't even scratch the surface here today. Whether you're still enjoying your PS4 or you've upgraded to the PS5, this list is for you, man, and I hope you found something you want to pick up today. If you liked this video, hit the like and hype buttons, as that helps more people to see it. Check out the PS4 video I just put out last week, as I think you'll really like it, as well as my PS4 collection, though it's slightly outdated now as I just keep buying shit. I appreciate you sticking around to the end of the video. Stay tuned for more soon, and thanks for stopping by.